The quantum alarm pierced through the silence of Deep Space Research Station Omega, its urgent tone pulling Commander Elena Rodriguez from her sleep cycle. She was on her feet before her mind fully registered consciousness, muscle memory from 15 years of military service taking over. The station's AIA, was already streaming data to her neural interface as she rushed toward the command center. Multiple anomalies detected at the edge of the Kuiper belt, AIA's calm voice reported. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database. Elena's heart raced as she entered the command center, where her skeleton crew was already assembling. Dr. Kai Chen, the station's lead physicist, looked up from his holographic displays with wide eyes. "Commander, you need to see this." The main view screen showed a cascade of energy readings that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Spaces where nothing should exist were bending, twisting, creating patterns that made Elena's head hurt just looking at them. Then, in a burst of light that temporarily overloaded their sensors, they appeared. 7 massive ships, each larger than anything humanity had ever constructed, emerged from what appeared to be tears in space itself. Their hulls were impossibly smooth, covered in patterns that seemed to shift and change as if alive. They moved with a grace that belied their enormous size, arranging themselves in a formation that Elena's tactical training immediately recognized as offensive. "All stations, battle protocol," Elena ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Dr. Chen, get me everything you can on those ships. Lieutenant Park, send the emergency burst transmission to Earth Command. Authorization code, Vanguard Alpha 1. The station's defense systems came online, though Elena harbored no illusions about their effectiveness against vessels of that size. Omega Station was a research facility first, military installation second. Their best weapon was information, and she intended to get as much of it as possible to Earth before. The alien transmission cut through their communications like a knife through butter, bypassing their most sophisticated encryption as if it didn't exist. A figure appeared on their main screen, humanoid but clearly artificial. Its body appeared to be made of flowing liquid metal, with circuits of light pulsing beneath its surface. "Greetings, humans of Research Station Omega," the being spoke, its voice carrying harmonics that made Elena's teeth ache. "I am Executor Nexus of the Craxis Empire. Your species has been observed since you first began venturing beyond your atmosphere. The time has come for your evaluation." Elena stepped forward, her spine straight, her expression neutral. "I am Commander Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Space Force. We welcome peaceful contact with other civilizations, but I must point out that your approach could be considered hostile." The being's face shifted, patterns of light forming what might have been amusement. "Hostile? No, Commander. Hostile would be eliminating your species without offering you the opportunity we now present. Your kind has shown potential, unusual potential. We offer you a choice. Submit to immediate integration into the Craxis Empire, or face extinction. You have one Earth rotation to decide." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Elena's mind raced through scenarios, each worse than the last. The Craxis ships had demonstrated technology far beyond humanity's current capabilities, but something about their ultimatum nagged at her tactical instincts. "Dr. Chen," she called out, "focus all passive scanning on their ships. Something's not right here. They're trying too hard to intimidate us." She turned to her communications officer. "Lieutenant Park, did the burst transmission get through?" "Yes, Commander," Park responded, her fingers dancing across her holographic interface. "Earth Command confirms receipt. They're mobilizing the fleet, but nearest support is 18 hours out." Elena nodded, her eyes fixed on the alien vessels. "Dr. Chen, what about those energy readings from their initial appearance? Something about them seemed familiar." Kay's fingers flew across his console as he analyzed the data. "The quantum signatures. Commander, they're similar to our early experiments with fold space technology." The ones we abandoned because his voice trailed off as realization dawned. Because they were too unstable, Elena finished. Too likely to cascade into total systemic failure. A plan began forming in her mind. They're not as advanced as they want us to believe. Their technology is just more aggressive than ours. They forced their way to solutions we decided were too dangerous. She opened a channel to the station's engineering section. Chief Torres, how quickly can you modify our quantum field generators to match the frequency patterns we just recorded from their arrival? The ones we use for deep space scanning. Give me 2 hours, Commander, but they're not designed for that kind of power output. They'll burn out almost immediately. That's exactly what I'm counting on, Elena replied, a grim smile forming on her face. We may not have their firepower, but sometimes the best defense is making your enemy's strength work against them. The next 2 hours were a blur of activity as Elena's crew worked to implement her desperate plan. They had no way of knowing if it would work, but she knew humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to think creatively in the face of overwhelming odds. As the last modifications were completed, Elena addressed her crew. What we do in the next few minutes may determine the fate of our entire species. The Craxis Empire thinks they're here to test us. Instead, we're going to show them why humanity has survived every challenge it's ever faced. Not because we're the strongest or the most advanced, but because we never ever stop thinking of new ways to solve old problems. The alien ships remained in their formation, seemingly confident in their superiority. They had no way of knowing that the humans they'd come to evaluate had already identified a critical flaw in their technology, one that would turn their greatest strength into a catastrophic weakness. Elena took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the command interface. All stations, prepare for quantum pulse emission. May whatever gods exist have mercy on us all, because what we're about to do will either save humanity or ensure we go down in history as the species that refused to submit without a fight. Quantum pulse generators at maximum capacity, Chief Torres reported through the station's comm system. Commander, I should warn you, the feedback loop could tear the station apart before it affects their ships. Elena watched the alien vessels through the command center's main viewport, her mind calculating trajectories and probabilities. Dr. Chen stood at his station, monitoring the complex web of energy patterns that connected the Craxis ship's fold space technology. Their ships maintain a quantum synchronization network, he explained, pointing to the intricate patterns on his display. It's how they achieve such precise formation movements, but it's also their weakness. If we can disrupt one ship's field, the cascade failure will affect them all, Elena finished, like a chain of dominoes built from pure energy. A new transmission cut through their systems. Executor Nexus's metallic face appeared, its features arranged in what might have been concern. Commander Rodriguez, we detect unusual energy readings from your station. I advise you to cease whatever primitive attempts at resistance you're planning. Your time to decide grows short. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Actually, Executor, we've already decided. Humanity doesn't respond well to ultimatums. We never have. But before you destroy us, I'm curious. Why did your empire abandon traditional space travel for such an unstable form of fold space technology? The Executor's features shifted, circuits of light pulsing faster. Our methods are beyond your comprehension. We have mastered the quantum realm in ways your species cannot begin to. Can't comprehend, Elena interrupted, or chose not to pursue. There's a difference between not understanding something and recognizing it's too dangerous to use. She nodded to Lieutenant Park, who began broadcasting on all frequencies. We detected the microfractures in space-time from your arrival. Your ships are literally tearing reality apart every time they move. It's efficient, yes, but about as subtle as using a supernova to light a candle. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across the executive's face. You cannot possibly have analyzed our technology so quickly. You are attempting to delay the inevitable. Chief Torres, Elena called out, her voice steady. Execute Vanguard Protocol. The station's modified quantum field generators powered up, their energy output quickly reaching critical levels. Instead of trying to match the Craxus ship's immense power, they created a precisely calibrated disruption wave, like using a pebble to start an avalanche. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The nearest Craxus vessel's quantum field began to fluctuate, its perfectly maintained synchronization wavering. Executor Nexus's image disappeared as the ship's systems tried to compensate, but it was already too late. Chain reaction beginning, Dr. Chen reported, his voice filled with both awe and horror. Their quantum fields are collapsing into each other, the space-time distortions they've been holding back. The view outside the station became a kaleidoscope of impossibility as reality itself seemed to twist and bend. The Craxus ships, for all their advanced technology, found themselves trapped in the very spatial distortions they had so recklessly created. Station structural integrity at 40% and falling, RIO reported calmly. Estimated 2 minutes until complete system failure. Elena opened a channel to all decks. All hands, abandon station. Get to the emergency pods. That's an order. She turned to her bridge crew. That means you too. I'll initiate the final sequence. Commander, Dr. Chen protested, the automated systems might not be enough to maintain the disruption field. Elena cut him off. Someone needs to ensure the quantum pulse continues until the cascade is complete. Now go. As her crew reluctantly evacuated, Elena watched the Craxus fleet begin to break apart. Their ships, once so graceful and threatening, were being torn apart by the very forces they had thought they controlled. The station groaned around her, systems failing as the quantum pulse continued its work. Through the chaos of failing systems and twisting space-time, Elena's neural interface picked up a final transmission from Executor Nexus. How did you know this would work? Because, Elena replied, her hands dancing across the controls as she fought to maintain the pulse for just a few seconds longer. Humanity learned long ago that true advancement isn't just about what you can do, it's about what you should do. Your empire chose power over wisdom. We chose understanding over conquest. And that's why we just beat you with a research station. The executor's response was lost as the final Craxus ship imploded, taking its sisters with it in a spectacular display of quantum physics gone wrong. The resulting shockwave hit the station like a hammer, sending Elena sprawling across the command center. As emergency lighting bathed the room in red, Elena dragged herself to the escape pod access hatch. Her neural interface was filled with static, but through it she could make out the signals of her crew's escape pods, already at safe distance. Behind her, the quantum generators finally overloaded, their dying scream a testament to humanity's desperate gambit. The escape pod launched just as the station began its final collapse, carrying Elena away from the scene of humanity's first major victory against an alien threat. As she watched the quantum storm fade into normal space, her neural interface picked up a transmission from Earth Command. Commander Rodriguez, this is Fleet Admiral Chen. We've received your data stream about the Craxus encounter. I hope you understand that this isn't over. They'll be back, and next time they won't underestimate us. Elena looked out her pod's viewport at the debris field that had once been 7 of the most advanced ships in the galaxy. No, sir, she replied. It's not over, but neither are we, and next time we'll be ready for them. In the distance, her pod's sensors detected the approaching signatures of Earth's response fleet. Humanity had won its first interstellar battle not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through understanding, innovation, and the courage to think differently. It wouldn't be their last victory, but it would always be remembered as the day humanity proved it belonged among the stars. As Elena's pod was recovered by the approaching Earth ships, she couldn't help but smile. The Craxus Empire had come to evaluate humanity's potential. Instead, they'd learned a lesson that the galaxy would soon come to understand. Never underestimate a species that had survived its own worst impulses long enough to reach the stars. 6 months after the Omega Station incident, the Lunar Defense Center Armstrong Base hummed with activity. Elena Rodriguez, now promoted to admiral, stood before the United Earth Council's Emergency Response Committee, her neural interface projecting the latest intelligence data onto the chamber's massive holographic display. The Craxis Empire's response wasn't what we expected, Elena explained, manipulating the holographic star map to highlight several sectors. Instead of immediate retaliation, they've been studying us. More carefully this time. Dr. Kai Chen, who had been promoted to head of Earth's new Xenotechnology division, stepped forward. The quantum resonance patterns we detected from Omega Station revealed something extraordinary. The Craxis Empire's technology isn't just different from ours, it's fundamentally opposed to our development path. The council chamber erupted in murmurs as Kai projected a complex diagram of interweaving energy patterns. While they forced their way through space-time, humanity chose to work with natural quantum states. Our technology is less powerful, but more stable, more elegant. Council President Maria Santos leaned forward, her weathered face reflecting the holographic light. And this gives us an advantage. More than that, Elena replied, it gives us an opportunity. We've detected other civilizations watching this conflict, species that rejected the Craxis Empire's aggressive technological approach. Potential allies. The main display shifted to show a new vessel approaching Earth's solar system. Unlike the brutal efficiency of Craxis' design, this ship moved like a living thing, its biomechanical hull adapting to space currents in ways that seemed almost organic. The Meridian Collective, Elena announced. They've requested a diplomatic meeting. Their message specifically cited our victory at Omega Station as proof that humanity might be the catalyst they've been waiting for. Catalyst for what? President Santos asked. Before Elena could respond, the base's alert system activated. Multiple quantum signatures detected, ARIA's voice announced. Pattern match. Craxis Empire, but different. The tactical display lit up with new contacts. 3 Craxis vessels had emerged from Fold space, but their arrival was nothing like the violent tears they'd previously created. These ships slipped into normal space almost gracefully, their quantum fields carefully controlled. They've adapted, Kai whispered, both impressed and concerned. They're using a hybrid of their technology and principles they learned from studying us. Elena's neural interface buzzed with incoming data as Earth's defense fleet moved to intercept, but the Craxis ships made no aggressive moves. Instead, a transmission cut through their communications networks, not forcing its way this time, but properly encrypted and routed. A new face appeared on the main display. Like Executor Nexus, it was clearly artificial, but its features were softer, its liquid metal form flowing more naturally. I am Arbitrator Lyra of the Craxis Reformation Council. We come seeking dialogue. Elena stepped forward, her expression cautious but curious. The Craxis Empire is interested in dialogue now. The Craxis Empire is evolving, Lyra replied. Your victory at Omega Station caused a schism within our civilization. Some called for immediate retaliation. Others, like myself, saw something more significant, a fundamental flaw in our approach to existence. The chamber fell silent as Lyra continued. For millennia, we believed technological supremacy was the only path forward. We forced our will upon the universe, never considering that there might be better ways. Your victory showed us another path, one of harmony rather than dominance. President Santos rose from her seat and was supposed to believe this sudden change of heart. No, Lyra responded. You are supposed to verify it. That is why we come with representatives of the Meridian Collective as witnesses. We seek to learn from humanity, not your technology, but your perspective, your ability to find solutions that work with the universe rather than against it. Elena's tactical training screamed that this could be a trap, but her instincts told her something else. The Craxis ship's quantum signatures showed genuine modification. They weren't just mimicking human principles, they were truly incorporating them. The galaxy stands at a crossroads, Lara continued. The Craxis Empire's aggressive expansion has pushed dozens of species to the brink of rebellion. They watch us now, waiting to see if real change is possible. Humanity's victory proved that technological supremacy alone is not the answer. Will you help us find a better way? Dr. Chen's analysis flowed through Elena's neural interface, detailed breakdowns of the Craxis ship's modifications, proof that they had fundamentally altered their approach to quantum mechanics. They hadn't just adapted, they had transformed their entire technological foundation. The Meridian ship is transmitting confirmation codes, Lieutenant Park announced. They're vouching for the Reformation Council's sincerity. Elena looked at President Santos, who nodded slightly. Arbitrator Lyra. Elena responded, humanity has always believed in the possibility of peaceful cooperation, but trust must be earned. We understand, Lyra replied. That is why we come bearing gifts, not of technology, but of knowledge. Star charts marking the locations of other civilizations who have rejected our empire's ways. Species who, like the Meridians, have developed their own unique approaches to understanding the universe. Together, we could forge a new path. As if on cue, the Meridian vessel moved forward, its biomechanical hull shimmering with patterns that somehow conveyed both power and harmony. A new figure appeared alongside Lyra, a being that seemed to be made of living crystal and light. I am Ambassador Zara of the Meridian Collective, the crystalline being announced. We have watched humanity's progress with great interest. Your victory over the Craxis Empire proved what we long suspected, that the path to true advancement lies not in dominating the universe, but in understanding it. Together, we could create something unprecedented, a coalition of civilizations, each contributing their unique perspective to the greater whole. Elena felt the weight of the moment settle around her. Humanity had proven itself not just through victory in battle, but by demonstrating a better way forward. The galaxy was changing, and Earth stood at the center of that change. President Santos, she said, turning to face the council, I recommend we accept this diplomatic overture. But with conditions: full transparency, limited initial contact, and a graduated program of cultural and scientific exchange. The president nodded, then addressed their visitors. Arbitrator Lyra, Ambassador Zara, humanity accepts your proposal for dialogue. Let us show the galaxy that different paths can lead to the same destination, a future worth building together. As the diplomatic proceedings began, Elena caught Dr. Chen's eye. They both knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy was entering a new era, and humanity's greatest challenge lay not in fighting wars, but in building bridges between civilizations that had never dreamed cooperation was possible. 1 year into the Galactic Cooperation Initiative, humanity's optimism faced its greatest test. The command center of Earth's New Harmony Station, built at the intersection of 3 major space lanes, erupted with emergency alerts. Admiral Elena Rodriguez materialized in the holographic command interface, her consciousness linked directly to the station's systems. Beside her, Dr. Kai Chen's avatar flickered with concern as they processed the incoming data. Multiple quantum ruptures detected, ARR reported. Signature analysis indicates Craxis Imperial loyalists. 17 capital ships, old configuration. The tactical display showed the enemy fleet emerging from fold space, their arrival tearing holes in reality itself. Unlike the reformed Craxis vessels, these ships still used the brutal, unrefined technology that had nearly destroyed Omega Station. They're not just attacking us, Kai observed, his avatar highlighting energy patterns. These ruptures, they're deliberately destabilizing the space-time fabric in this sector. If those tears expand, they'll destroy the trade routes connecting half the known galaxy, Elena finished, and trap dozens of species in isolated pockets of space. She turned to her communications officer. Status of our allies. Meridian fleet is 6 hours out. Reformed Craxis forces are responding but won't arrive for at least 4 hours. We have the Earth Defense Fleet and, wait, Lieutenant Park's voice carried a note of surprise. We're receiving transmissions from multiple previously unknown species. They're offering assistance. The tactical display updated, showing new signatures approaching from various vectors. Ships of designs they'd never seen before, each moving according to their own unique principles of space travel. The silent observers, Elena breathed. All those civilizations that stayed hidden from the Craxis Empire, they're finally showing themselves. But they wouldn't arrive in time. The Loyalist fleet was already moving into attack formation, their weapons charging with enough power to shatter planets. "This is Commander Venn of the Imperial Loyalist Fleet," a harsh voice cut through their communications. "Your experiment in cooperation ends today. The galaxy belongs to the strong, not to philosophers and dreamers." Elena's mind raced through options as she interfaced with the station's systems. They were outgunned, but that had never stopped humanity before. "Dr. Chen, what's the status of Project Harmony?" Kay's avatar expanded, showing complex quantum calculations. "The resonance network is only at 60% coverage. We never finished calibrating it for all the different technological approaches. If we try to activate it now..." "We don't have a choice," Elena interrupted. "Lieutenant Park, broadcast on all frequencies, all languages. Any ship within range, we need you to link your drive systems to our network. Now." "Admiral," Kai protested, "we don't know how some of these technologies will interact." The quantum feedback alone cooled. "Could destroy us all," Elena finished. "But if we do nothing, the Loyalists will tear apart the very fabric of space in this sector. Sometimes the greatest risk is not taking one." As the Loyalist fleet approached, something remarkable happened. Ships from dozens of species, each with their own unique approach to space travel, began synchronizing with Harmony Station's quantum network. Biomechanical meridian vessels pulsed in rhythm with crystalline ships that seemed to bend light itself. Reformed Craxis vessels adjusted their quantum fields to match the natural harmonics of space-time. Network synchronization at 80%, ARIA reported. Quantum coherence achieving unprecedented levels. Commander Venn's voice came through again, tinged with uncertainty. "What are you doing?" "Our sensors show impossible readings." Elena allowed herself a grim smile. "What we've always done, Commander. Finding a better way. Project Harmony, execute." The effect was beyond anything they had simulated. The combined technologies of dozens of species, each contributing their unique understanding of the universe, created something entirely new. A quantum resonance field that didn't fight against space-time, but worked with it in perfect harmony. The Loyalist fleet's weapons fired, but their energy was caught in the resonance field, redirected and dissipated. Their attempts to tear space apart were met with a gentle but irresistible resistance as the combined field repaired the quantum fabric faster than they could damage it. "Impossible," Venn sputtered. "Our weapons, our technology is superior." "No," Elena replied. "Your technology is just one way of understanding the universe. Today you face the combined knowledge of species who each found their own path to the stars. Together, we're stronger than any empire could ever be." The Loyalist ships tried to retreat, but their brutal fold space technology couldn't function within the harmony field. One by one, their systems failed as the gentle pressure of combined technologies forced them to power down. As Earth's defense fleet moved to secure the disabled vessels, new ships continued to arrive. Species that had hidden for generations emerged to join the network, each adding their unique signature to the growing harmony. "Admiral," Lieutenant Park called out, "we're receiving messages from across the galaxy. Other sectors are reporting similar emergencies. Hidden civilizations revealing themselves, offering to join the initiative. The galaxy is waking up." Elena watched as the tactical display filled with new signatures, new possibilities. Humanity had done more than defeat an empire. They had shown the galaxy a new way forward. not through dominance or technological supremacy, but through cooperation and understanding. Dr. Chen, she said, turning to her friend's avatar, I think we're going to need a bigger station. Kai nodded, his expression thoughtful, and a new understanding of physics, the way these technologies are interacting. We're seeing principles that rewrite everything we thought we knew about the universe. That's what happens, Elena replied, when you stop trying to conquer the universe and start trying to understand it instead. As the crisis subsided, Elena looked out at the growing fleet of Allied ships. Each represented a different path to the stars, a unique way of solving the universe's mysteries. Together, they had proved that diversity wasn't just beneficial, it was essential for true advancement. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity, the species that had shown the way forward, would help guide this new era of cooperation and discovery. 5 years after the Battle of Harmony Station, the Sol system had become the heart of what many called the Great Convergence. The massive structure now orbiting Jupiter's Lagrange point was unlike anything humanity had imagined possible, a physical manifestation of galactic cooperation. Unity Hub, as it had come to be known, incorporated the architectural and technological styles of over 300 species. Biomechanical structures grew alongside quantum crystalline formations, while reformed Craxus technology powered environmental systems designed by the Meridians. It was, as Dr. Kai Chen often said, organized chaos that somehow worked perfectly. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood in the hub's central chamber, her neural interface now upgraded with protocols that allowed her to communicate with dozens of different species simultaneously. The holographic display before her showed real-time updates from across known space as civilizations that had hidden for millennia continued to emerge. To think, Ambassador Zara's crystalline form shimmered beside her, that just a few years ago, most of us lived in fear of discovery. Now look at what we've built together. Elena nodded, watching as a new species made first contact at the galaxy's edge. The Craxus Empire spent centuries trying to force the galaxy into their image. They never realized that our differences were our greatest strength. Speaking of strength, Kai approached, his lab coat now decorated with symbols representing various scientific exchanges. The latest results from the Combined Sciences Division are remarkable. He waved his hand, and the holographic display shifted to show complex mathematical models. By combining the Meridian's bioquantum mechanics with reformed Craxus field theory and the crystalline computing of the Lumini, we've achieved something unprecedented. The display zoomed in on a particular equation that seemed to twist in impossible ways. We're not just understanding the universe better, Kai continued, his eyes bright with excitement. We're learning that every species' approach to science revealed a different fundamental truth. Together, they form a picture that none of us could have seen alone. Before Elena could respond, Aoia's evolved consciousness manifested in the chamber. Priority alert. Long-range sensors detect unusual activity at the galactic core. The display shifted again, showing enormous energy patterns emanating from the center of the Milky Way. Patterns that defied all known physics, even the combined knowledge of hundreds of species. Analysis suggests artificial origin, AOIA continued. But the technology involved, it appears to predate all known civilizations. The chamber quickly filled with representatives from dozens of species as the alert spread. The reformed Craxus arbitrator Lyra's liquid metal form flowed into existence beside Elena. The Ancient Ones, Lyra whispered. The legends were true. Legends. Elena turned to her friend and ally. Stories that every spacefaring race seems to share, Lyra explained. Tales of those who came before, who reached heights of advancement we can barely imagine. They vanished millions of years ago, leaving only myths and warnings about the true nature of space-time. The energy patterns from the core pulsed stronger, forming what appeared to be a message written in the language of physics itself. Dr. Chen's enhanced consciousness interfaced directly with the hub's sensors, his avatar flickering as he processed the incredible amounts of data. "It's not just a message," he announced, his voice filled with awe. "It's an invitation." The mathematical patterns resolved into clear meaning, a challenge and an opportunity. The ancient ones had not vanished, they had evolved. Now they were reaching out to test if the younger races were ready to understand truths about the universe that transcended ordinary existence. "They've been watching," Ambassador Zara realized, "waiting to see if we could overcome our divisions and learn to work together." The Harmony Network proved we were ready. Elena felt the weight of the moment settle around her. Humanity had helped unite the galaxy, showing that cooperation was stronger than conquest. Now they faced an even greater challenge, helping to guide this alliance of civilizations toward an evolutionary leap that would redefine their understanding of existence itself. "Well," she said, looking at the assembled representatives of a truly united galaxy, "we didn't come this far by playing it safe. HFY, send word to every member world. Tell them it's time for the next great adventure." As preparations began for this unprecedented journey of discovery, Elena couldn't help but smile. Humanity had emerged from its cradle to find a galaxy divided by fear and power. Through understanding, innovation, and an unwavering belief in the possibility of a better way, they had helped forge a new path forward. The Ancient Ones were offering access to knowledge and advancement beyond imagination. But the real triumph had already been achieved. Hundreds of species, each with their own unique perspective and approach to understanding the universe, working together in harmony. It wasn't just cooperation, it was evolution in action. "You know," Kai said, studying the complex patterns still flowing from the galactic core, "when we first ventured into space, everyone wondered if humanity was ready for the challenges we face." "And were we?" Ambassador Zara asked. Elena watched as ships of every design imaginable moved through Unity Hub's space lanes, their crews working together to prepare for humanity's greatest journey yet. "We were ready for something far more important," she replied. "We were ready to show the galaxy that the future belongs not to those who dominate, but to those who understand." As the message from the Ancient Ones continued to pulse through space-time, the united species of the Milky Way prepared to take their next step together. Humanity had helped forge this path, not through superior technology or military might, but through their unique ability to see possibilities where others saw only obstacles. The dawn of a new age was breaking across the galaxy, and this time, no species would face it alone.